name is Emily and this is Hallowed Beauty. I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of things in this video. It's going to be mainly fall inspired just because it is November and I'm wearing my fall shirt. I really want to focus on more golds, oranges, browns. They will be a little bit glittery, but nothing too crazy because, like I said, this is a fall look, so it's not going to be super vibrant, colorful, crazy, you know, something that you would probably do for summertime raves, stuff like that. Let's get into the video. First things first, so we're going to put our hair up because we don't want our hair getting all makeup done and that mess. You know, we got to keep it out of the way so that we can properly do what we need to do. In this video, I'm not going to be doing a foundation look just because I'm only focusing on this eye look. I will do a foundation inspired look probably next few videos, but this one will just be eyeshadow. Always want to start off with a eyelid primer, mainly because you want your colors to come out as pigmented as possible so that they show up on your face. Especially if you're darker complected, you really want to make sure that you use some so that you can see some colors and that it's not creasing, cracking, falling out, any of that mess. Okay, so we're gonna start with my favorite Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This is not too expensive at all. You can mainly find this at Ulta. So first, just kind of put a light coat here on your lids. You can put some underneath if you want, unless you're more of a concealer girl, that is totally fine. And then I usually just take my finger and blend it in real nice there, real nice, you know. We're gonna begin with our lid color. This is the Morphe palette, 35O palette. This is one of their older palettes, probably from 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know exactly. It's been a while, but these are one of my favorite palettes. I mean, Morphe's always killing it with their shades, always, and you get like 22 shades for like 20 bucks, so it's totally worth it. So we're gonna be taking this shade right here, this beautiful sparkly brown, yeah. And what I like to do before applying, of course, because a lot of the time, if you apply your eyeshadow on your lid, you're gonna get some fallout right here, and especially if you've already done your foundation, you don't want that to happen. So I like to take, you know, a little wipey, whatever the case, and we're just gonna start here on the lid. So when doing the lid color, I really recommend using a flat tipped brush just because it's going to apply so much better on your lid and more pigmented, because if you try to use like a blending brush, it's not going to come out the same. So just make sure you use more of a flat tipped brush. That way all of the actual shade will be on that brush. This one specifically is E.L.F. I did get this within a brush kit. So you can find brush kits anywhere. Morphe sells them. E.L.F. pretty good price. I recommend doing that because it's a lot cheaper than just buying individual brushes by themselves. I mean, you can do that if you need like a new one and it's been a while, but go with them kits, girl, because you're gonna get eyeshadow brushes, blending brushes, blush brushes, contour brushes, all kinds of stuff that you need. So next we're gonna go ahead and go to the crease. This is my favorite part just because this is kind of where your eye makeup starts to come to life. You know what I mean? This is the Morphe 35M palette. This one is one of my favorites. It's just so beautiful, so glittery. So for the crease, I'm going to go in with this Hot Stuff, this kind of darker, glitterier brown. You don't want to go with like any of these colors just because it's going to blend more into the lid. I mean, you could go with like this color, but honestly, you really want that difference of shade because it just kind of gives you that oomph, you know, when you do a darker color for your crease. So I'm going to be taking my favorite blending brush, the Morphe M441, and I will put all of the products and brushes and palettes that I use in the description so that you guys can go back, check that out, and know exactly what I used, okay? So, of course, you want to get your little wipey because you don't want fallout getting all over, right? So you're just going to start kind of in your inner corner, go in circular motions, and you want to kind of just branch it out. I need to get a little bit more color on here. But you really just kind of want to go in those circular motions so that the blending is blended and you don't have any harsh lines. To be honest with you guys, that color was a little bit too bright, so I went with the next color down, just so you can see more of that crease color. And I will also put the name of that in the description below, but it is called Hot to Trot. Also, another recommendation, if you guys are going to be using the same brush, which I normally do use the same eyeshadow brushes for the same look, you can use different ones if you have like different flat tipped brushes, but I'm going to go in with the same flat tip brush that I used for the lid for the brow bone. And also I recommend to clean the brush between colors. You know, you don't want the brown getting mixed with your brow bone color, because your brow bone color is mainly going to be a tan whiter color, because you want to just have that as a highlight. So you really don't want to mix any like brown into it, because then it's just going to look awkward and weird. Going in with the brow bone color, we're going to use this Life of the Party color right here, which is a really nice tan looking color. This would also probably be a nice highlight color too if you have like no highlighter left and you wanted to improvise. That right there would do you well. So you're just going to be highlighting your brow bone here. I recommend to not do your brows yet. I personally like to do my eyeshadow first and then my foundation, then my brows, because then you can really shape the brows how you want your brows, and that way you're not getting you know, eyeshadow on your brows and you gotta like redo your brows and all of that mess. It's just gonna be irritating. So I like to just do my eyeshadow first, do what I need to do, blend everything I need to, and then do the brows last. I will go back in, because I'm a perfectionist, and kind of go over the lid color just so that the crease color didn't really go and cover the lid color, because sometimes that can happen if you have a bigger blending brush. So I like to go back in and kind of, you know, reapply the lid a little bit, maybe touch up the crease. The last color, I'm going to be going with, let's do this darker brown right here. I really wish these had names on them, but you know, this was the start of Morphe, so it's okay. Everybody grows from somewhere. So I'm not using the same blending brush. I'm not using this one just because this one takes kind of a bit to clean. So I really have to actually like clean this one to get the brown out of here. And I don't want to mix that brown and this brown because it's just gonna look awkward. So I'm going in with a different blending brush. This one's a little bit smaller, but this is gonna be going out on the outer corner. So go ahead and get that, and then get your little wipey, of course, because you don't want that fallout to get again on under your eye. And then you're gonna kind of just do the same as the crease. You're gonna do circular motions. Do it until you see the difference of the color. You might have to dip it in a couple times to really be able to see these colors, because they are brown. They're not super vibrant. So if you do want more of a pigmented, like, wow, she's got brown on her eyes look, then you're gonna have to go in a couple times. Also, another thing, ladies, don't go too far into the crease when you're doing the outer lid, just because you don't want to override your crease color. And that's why I say, especially if you're doing more of a neutral brown look, a lot of the browns can look the same. So, you know, you might have to go in a couple times and kind of revive those colors, just since, you know, we're kind of packing colors on top of colors. So I mean, you can see the color difference, but at the same time, you really want to just go back in. I usually just go back with my finger. I mean, you can use your brush, whatever you want. I personally also like using my finger because the shade really, you know, sticks to your finger nice. So I'll go back in with that orange, kind of touch that up. I'll go back in and do the crease a little bit, and then I'll make sure that the outer corner, you can really see that darkness right there. So we got that. I kind of went in and retouched it up a little bit so you can kind of see the colors a little bit better. I'm going to go in with this color right here, this orangey coral color, and this is a personal preference, but I always like to just underline the lid, the lower lid, with another color just to really make your eyes pop and to just be colorful, you know? Take that same flat brush, especially for under the eye. You want to just go right along the lid here. You don't want to go out too far or it's gonna make you look crazy. Like, especially if you're doing a red or something, your eyes are gonna look red. We're done with the eyeshadow, finally, woo! If you're, like I said, a perfectionist like me, it's gonna take you a bit just to do your eyeshadow because you want it to look good. You want it to look blended. You don't want no harsh lines, you know, you want to take your time. So we can finally move on to the eyeliner. I am using line Stiletto by Maybelline. I am not using any crazy prestige products at this time until I buy possibly more, because I am a little bit on the cheaper side of things. So I like to just do reviews and whatnot on mass products, which is aka drugstore products. So this is Maybelline. This is the line Stiletto. Now, doing eyeliner, this is liquid. If you're a liquid liner type of girl, I would stick with that because I personally don't like pencil, especially if you're doing a lot of eyeshadow, because the pencil is just not going to be as it's not going to give you that depth that you want, you know. It's not going to give you that dramatic, like, wow. And the liquid liner is usually the best way to go, especially if you want to do a wing, which I will also show you how to do in this video. You can use a piece of tape. I usually angle it like this, and that way when you pull it off, your eyeshadow will also have that really cut line right there. But I didn't do that today, obviously, so I'm just going to be freestyling it, free drawing it. When doing a wing, especially if you don't really have any guidance or really know how to do one, just kind of go along where your eyebrow is. You kind of want to angle either up or out. If you're angling more up, then you want to kind of make that parallel to your eyebrow, and then, you know, make a triangle and then fill it in, of course. Now, the thickness of the liner depends on you and your personal preference. I don't like to do really thick liner because then you can't really see like your lid shade, and especially if you have smaller eyelids, you want to be able to see what you got. Like, you don't want to just see eyeliner. Just, you know, so I like to do eyeliner a little bit on the thinner side, but like I said, personal preference, totally up to you. After we've done our eyeliner, now I know you probably are not sure on how to make the wings relatively similar. Just kind of go based off of what I said, you know, follow how your brow is. If you're doing it more slanted or more out, you know, you're just gonna have to practice with it. It definitely does take practice, especially if you're not used to liquid liner or doing wings a lot. It's gonna take time to get them pretty similar. They're not gonna be exactly the same. I mean, that's just how it is. But as long as they look the same, you're fine. So I'm gonna go in with my lashes. I'm gonna probably do this pair right here. These are the Kiss 77845s. I love Kiss lashes. They're awesome. I have had these for a while. I probably need to get some new ones. But I love Kiss because their bands are thin and they don't bother your eyes. I feel like a lot of lashes. Some lashes are just caterpillars on your eyeballs and the thickest band possible. So I'm using Duo Glue for my lash glue. This glue is honestly the best glue I've ever tried. I've never really tried any other glues, which I can do reviews on if you guys want me to. But I really like this one. This one is the dark tone. Some people say it's messy, but I feel like it's only messy if you make it messy. I do have this Duo Glue as well. It's clear and it actually has a brush at the end of it, but I just don't like the way it dries, and I feel like it's not as sticky as the original Duo Glue. I've already applied my glue, and when applying your lash, you just want to apply the lash as close to your lash line as possible. Okay, and if you really want to try to get at least one side stuck. I'm going to show you guys on the other eye a better representation because my left eye was giving me issues. Yeah. Also because I'm trying to do this literally in a camera. I don't even have a mirror behind me. So, but I know that I can place it better on my right side versus my left for some reason. I think it's probably because I am right-handed. But as I was saying, you really want to try to put it as close to your lash line as possible and at least try to get the end of it stuck first, so that way it's easier for you to kind of just follow along and put it down like that. Much better representation. Now we go in with our mascara. This mascara, I have not went back since I found this mascara. This is Rimmel London Scandalized Curve Alert Mascara. You can get this at Ulta, CVS, Walgreens, if they have it. A lot of the time it's sold out because I'm telling y'all, this is the best mascara I have ever used. And I've tried quite a decent amount, but this one, it just gives you that volume. It has that curve on the spoolie end of the brush, and you know, it's just good. It's just really good. Now, on my lower lids, I might tend to use like a smaller bristled mascara brush, just so, because this one is quite large, but you can see how it kind of curves, if you can tell. It's just so good for your lashes to kind of, you know, follow along with what you're wanting, which is a curve, because we want your lashes to be curled up, baby. Just put a couple coats right then and there. You don't need too many because we got some nice, beautiful lashes on, so I mean, you don't have to go crazy with the mascara. I will put multiple coats, but that's just because I do like a little bit bigger lash volumized look. My lower lashes are quite long, so that's why like I said, I try to use a smaller mascara brush just so it's a little bit easier for me to maneuver and do my lashes on the lower lids. We're gonna go in with our curler. This one is Revlon. I've had this one for pretty good amount of years now, and it's all right. I mean, honestly, this little thing has come out a couple times, but I mean, I just pop a rack back in and it's good to go. So I like to wait until my lash glue is completely dry normally before doing this, just because there have been times where it's been a little bit too soon and I've tried to curl them and then my lashes are popping off. Just kind of wanna, and I mean, you don't have to go like superbly close to your lash line when you curl them. You can kind of, oh shoot, see what I mean? You can kind of go halfway here. Just kind of give them a little oomph. If it does stick, just kind of like open your eyes a little bit bigger and not like rip them, like rip it down, if that makes sense. Like just kind of like do that with your eyes and it'll let go and you'll be fine. This is completely a preference thing. I do this usually all the time just because when you do your eyeliner, mascara, and lashes, sometimes there's almost like a spacing that you can see where it's not blacked out. Tight lining is what it's called, and a way to do this without poking your eye or getting a whole bunch of liner in your eye, I just like to look up and then just kind of go along your lid here and line. On the bottom as well, I kind of already did some, but I only go halfway for the liner on the bottom. I don't really do the whole lower lid. This is completely a preference thing. You don't have to do this. It just makes your eye look more depth. Now we're on to the brows, and this is kind of my favorite part other than the eyeshadow, but I love doing brows. I love this eyebrow gel. This is by the brand Undone. It's more of a clean, natural brand, so I really like their products. And this one specifically has a spoolie with the brow gel already on it. And then on the other end, it's a liner, like a brow liner, so you can kind of more create your own strokes of hair. But I normally just stick to the spoolie because it works honestly just as good. Just make sure that you're following how your brow shape is. That of course depends on if you get your eyebrows trimmed normally, if you pluck them, you know, that kind of thing. If your brows aren't really shaped before you fill in your brows, it's not going to look as neat. So just really try to shape your brows before you actually fill them in or apply brow gel. But always go up and down. You want to create that full look without just, you know, because if you do, and it's just gonna be a line on your eyebrow, and it's it's not gonna look cute. So you really want to try to fluff out your brows. Fluff up and out. Up and out, boo-boo. I really like this one specifically because it's warm brown. It's not too dark for me. I know it can be really difficult sometimes to find a good shade, especially when it comes to brows, because a lot of shades are either too light or too dark. Honestly, I recommend just putting some swatches on your hand if you can before you buy it. Of course, if you buy anything at Ulta, you can use it, try it out, bring it back if it doesn't work, if it's too light, too dark, whatever. But other stores like Walmart, stuff like that, you know, yes, you can return it, but it's just, I feel like more of a hassle. So I just, to avoid all that, to even be like, to not even take it back, just do some swatches on your hand and kind of see like, ooh, that's a little bit too light for me, or that's a little bit too dark. That's exactly how I picked out this one. After I use this gel, I'll actually go in with my Anastasia brow pencil. I love this thing. It's amazing. And this is more of a prestige brand as well. She's a little bit more expensive, but she's worth it. I definitely think she's worth it. I love her products. I just kind of use it to shape the brow more into that arch that we really want. And then, you know, after we shape our brows, then I will go in with a cleaner spoolie, not one covered in brow gel. Like, I don't, this one's more clean, and I'll make sure it's clean before I use it. And then I just like to really brush it out. I'm not someone that really likes that brow look that is super gelled down. I'm just not about that look. It's completely up to your preference, but me personally, I like brows to look a little bit more natural when it comes to makeup. But of course, if you're going for more the dramatic, like, wow, then, you know, you can do what you want. But I really like to fluff them up, fluff them out, and make them look natural. Last thing, I'm going to be adding Blazing Lava 303. This is L'Oreal lipstick. They probably don't even have this lipstick anymore, to be honest with you, because this lipstick is so old. But I'm not a throwaway or waster person at all, so I will literally keep makeup for 15 years and still use it, because as long as that's why I hate when they say makeup expires. Does it really though? Because honestly, I've been using half of this makeup for like 10 years and still looks bomb. So it's not really a red, it's kind of like an orangey red ish, but it's perfect for fall. I have really small lips. Make sure to blotch your lips. That way it ain't coming off on your teeth or nothing. Kind of shape up the corners. Just either take some tissue, or you can even take like a Q-tip, which is even better. If you're like a lip liner person, then by all means, go ahead and do that lip liner, girl. Fill it in with that lipstick. Me, on the other hand, I'm not so much of a lip person. I really only put like chapstick on my lips. But when I do wear lipstick, I like reds and bright pinks. It's just because I have small lips. So, I mean, you know, insecurity thing. This is the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in my next one. If you'd love to turn on those notifications so that you know every time I post, go ahead and do that, because you're gonna need some tips and tricks for the rest of your life. Let's just be honest. If you keep wearing makeup, you're gonna need me. But I really hope you guys like this fall inspired look. It's very elegant, very more on the simple side. I wouldn't call it crazy, but just very elegant, classy, and girl, you go to that Halloween party.